Hey guys, I think we need to have a chat, and I feel bad because I'm going to be raining on a lot of parades and pissing in a lot of Cheerios with this one. We need to stop with the general strike and mass boycott bullshit, okay? I feel terrible saying this. I don't want to quell anybody's enthusiasm, but we have to stop. Before you jump in my comments and crucify me, I'm going to tell you why, and it's not because I don't want to stick it to the man, believe me. And I'm only saying this because while the intentions are absolutely amazing, it will do far more harm than good. See, there's a lot of people right now that are really excited to organize and do something to make a difference and be civically engaged, and they are latching on to this mass boycott and general strike stuff, and when it inevitably fails, because it will, it is going to dishearten them, and then they will not be there and as enthusiastic as and excited to put their efforts into something that could actually be productive. But oh, it's just people like you saying it won't be successful is the reason it won't be successful. No, that's not it. I again hate to rain on your parade, but we just need to think about this logically. First of all, this mass boycott thing, just not buying anything on one day, what do you think that's going to do? Because people are going to buy stuff before that day and after that day, and the vast majority of people are still going to buy stuff on that day. It's just unrealistic, right? Mass boycotts do not work. Targeted boycotts, great. And if you guys want to start putting your energy into that and focusing on specific businesses, specific brands to boycott, to send a message, absolutely, knock yourselves out. Like, you could get people to boycott Tesla. We're starting to get enough options where you could get people to boycott Starlink. Plenty of realistic things to boycott out there where you can send messages. If you do decide to go that route, just remember, that also needs to be realistic. Expecting people to just boycott Amazon or Walmart, not gonna happen. And it's not gonna happen specifically because a lot of places, there's just no other options, and Walmart especially positions itself in places where that's the case. And then you gotta remember, for any boycott to be successful, people have to have buy-in, and to have buy-in, it has to be easy. And while you're passionate and ready to sacrifice for your cause, most people don't give that much of a shit. So any boycott has to be something simple, easy to do, has easy alternatives, because that's the only way you're ever gonna get the buy-in. It sucks, I'm sorry, that's human nature. Now, this general strike stuff, guys, please stop tagging me in this stuff because I will not support it. First off, it is just absolutely ridiculous to think that you're gonna find 11 million people to just stop showing up for work. And I get it, it's a great cause to send a great message, but these people still have rent to pay or mortgages to pay and families to feed and medical bills. And without union organizing and resources and protections, they are just not going to risk losing all of that to maybe send a message. Almost everywhere general strikes of work have been done in countries with much smaller populations, with much higher union participation, and they were done with union solidarity strikes. This is where one union goes on strike for whatever the purpose is, and a bunch of the other unions in that country follow suit to show solidarity. That's how a general strike works. Those unions provide people with protections from getting fired while they're striking, and sometimes even provide them with wages and benefits while they're on strike. You're not going to find 11 million people to randomly sign up on a website to just say they're going to stop going to work without those protections, which is why the general strike website only has like 200,000 signatures right now. Again, I'm really not trying to rain on anybody's parade because we really need people willing to put in this kind of effort. I'm just pointing out that this would have consequences with no benefit, the least of which would be disheartening people who are currently willing to get involved, and the worst case scenario would be millions of people losing their jobs and by extension their homes and their healthcare and their security because they didn't show up to work. But I won't criticize a plan of action without an alternative idea, and I've got one. There is currently 16 million people represented by unions in the United States today. That is more than what the general strike people want to do their strike. Now, there's not an insignificant portion of those that are not legally allowed to strike, some federal workers, some railroad workers, but they could also possibly participate by doing work slowages or stoppages or wildcat strikes. So now if everybody who is putting all of their effort into trying to get people to do a sign-up sheet on a website for a strike started putting in their effort to contact the unions and start trying to talk them into doing a general strike, well, then there's a realistic chance of it actually being successful. Those types of strikes have been successful in other countries in the past, and you have the organizing structure for a strike already in place with them. You also have to convince a lot less people. You just need to convince union leadership, and then they will tell their workers whether they're going on strike or not. That way you don't need to convince 11 million people one by one to do it and then hope they actually follow through. And if you're really passionate about doing more and organizing more, join a fucking union. And if your workplace doesn't have one, create one. Because that's where these organizing efforts will be be the most effective, and do it now before this administration cracks down on unions. And you know they're going to, because they're already doing it. Alright guys, I really appreciate everybody wanting to organize and participate and their enthusiasm, and I'm only raining on your parade because I want all of that effort to have the biggest impact possible. So now you can go ahead and crucify me in the comments, but I appreciate y'all sticking it out and hearing my unpopular opinion.